Welcome to the Edmonton Graphic Designer YouTube channel, where we like to introduce the tribe members to the business community as well as to the fellow tribe members so we can get to know each other. We haven't actually met yet or even had a Zoom meeting. Life has been pretty busy, but that is on the agenda. Today we will be introducing somebody very special to me. And in fact, this is kind of a unique situation. I'm going to be introducing you to me. I didn't have anybody volunteer to be interviewed for this month's monthly marketing tips newsletter. So you get to meet me. All right. So I want to introduce you to Cindy Doust. She's got 41 years of experience in graphic design. I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about herself. Okay. Well, thank you, Cindy, and welcome. Thank you, Cindy, for that warm welcome. It's almost like we've known each other forever. So as Cindy said, my name is Cindy Doust. I am originally from Ontario, St. Catharines, Ontario, and I moved here when I was in grade 11 and actually grade 10, halfway through grade 10. And I had to finish grade 11 here. And when I was taking a course at the high school, Harry College High School, there was only one high school there. I was taking a course called Visual Communications, and it was an introductory course to photography, printing and plate making, drafting, all that kind of stuff. And I've always been artistic. I've always loved to draw and create things when I was growing up. And so I really enjoyed this course. And then I graduated. And my cousin, who lived in Hinton also, she worked at the Parklander newspaper. I think that's what it was called, Hinton Parklander. And she told me about a job that was open, like they were looking for somebody for the graphic designer at a printing shop. And so I applied. And as the owner was showing me through the shop, it was like, oh, I've used that. And so I got the job. And that was way before computers and laptops and everything, right? I used a thing called a Linotronic. And when I typed words or sentences, you couldn't actually see the font or the spacing. Or you couldn't be very creative. You had to be creative in your mind and then splice it all together and wax it first and then splice it and then paste up. That's why it was called a paste up artist. And so anyway, I worked there for maybe 2 or 3 years, and then the Alberta Government started an apprenticeship, and it was at West Terra, and it was for printing and graphic arts pre-press. And I was the very first student accepted, and they did a write-up, an article in the newspaper about me, saying, don't you think you're a pioneer? And of course I said, no, I'm not a pioneer. And yeah, so the rest is history. So Cindy, we know you're a graphic designer, but what other creative outlets do you have and do you enjoy doing? Well, I do love photography, and I was so happy when digital cameras came about because it was so expensive when you had to pay for having your pictures developed, and digital photography just allowed more creativity. You could take a chance and be creative and not have to worry about wasting money. So I actually need to learn how to use my cameras more. I basically just have them on automatic, and but I do love photography, and I do often use photos that I take for greeting cards. I love to make custom greeting cards for my friends and family and for customers, for like Christmas greetings that they want to have printed and sent to their clients. I also do web design. I did my own websites, but at some point I'm probably going to have a more professional from our tribe do that for me. I love to draw and sketch, and so that's one thing I love about designing logos, getting to sketch things out, finding the different components and images that I want to incorporate, and then sketching that out in order to create the logo and brand for my clients. So Cindy, are you an entrepreneur, or do you work for somebody else? Well, in my 41 years of experience, most of the time I've been working as a graphic designer for another company, but all the while having my own freelance graphic design company. Friends, family, people from church would ask me to design a logo and then design some business cards or whatever, stationery, posters. And so I would do that on my own time, and then I would get them printed wherever it was that I was working. So that worked out well for me. But as of March 2021, I guess it would be, with COVID, it affected my employee where I was working, and they let me go. And so it was like, okay, well, I guess I need to learn how to fly and build a business that can support me. And so that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm having a blast. So Cindy, with 41 years of experience, what value do you see yourself adding to the Edmonton Graphic Designer Networking Group and the Edmonton business community? Well, I was really inspired to start this Edmonton Graphic Designer Networking Group right before Christmas, actually. So it's been since March of 2021 since I've been self-employed and working from home. And I've noticed that it's pretty lonely, actually. Well, COVID was going on too, so you couldn't go out and socialize. Any networking and meetings were online, Zoom meetings and stuff, which was great. But I never met very many graphic designers in all my networking and stuff. So I was like, if I feel this loneliness and detachment from like-minded individuals and could use some camaraderie, some sharing of information, I thought, well, then, I mean, everybody's the same, right? If I need it, then other people need it as well. So I decided to reach out and send an invitation to other graphic designers and web designers and photographers and videographers and anybody that has anything to do with visual communications in marketing a person's product or service, or just communicating a message through visuals. Yeah, so I decided that, I mean, I'm nobody special, and I just thought, why don't I be the person to rally around the troops and create a networking group where we can meet once a week. Now that the restrictions are lifted, we can meet and have a coffee and get together. In fact, I have joined the Edmonton Chamber of Commerce on behalf of the Edmonton Graphic Designer Networking Group, and I'm going to an event on March 29th called After Hours. Anyway, I'm going to a networking event on March 29th, and I'm going to be introducing everybody I talk to the Edmonton Graphic Designer Networking Group, but mostly the monthly marketing tips newsletter, because I want them to sign up so that we can send them a monthly marketing tips newsletter, and they will be introduced to the tribe members each month. Cindy, what wisdom would you like to share with the viewers that you've discovered in your years of experience as a graphic designer? Well, I would have to say that creating relationships and um, learning about my client is the most important thing. If I'm designing something that is supposed to represent them, have their voice, have their characteristics or their brand, I need to actually be able to understand who they are and what they represent, what their products and services are supposed to be representing as well. This means taking an interest in my client, doing research online, reading their reviews. One thing, I guess, what I want to say is there's a saying that I relate to. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And people are willing to pay more if they know that you care and you have their best interest at heart. Awesome advice, Cindy. Thanks. If you could, what would you educate your target market about? Well, actually, as I said, I would educate them about the monthly marketing tips newsletter that is free of charge. I want to bridge the gap between graphic designers, web designers, and when I say graphic designers and Edmonton Graphic Designer Networking Group, it is a collective. It's the web designers, it's the photographers, videographers, as I said. But I want to bridge the gap between Edmonton graphic designers, the business community, and printing companies. I want to create a relationship, and I want to educate the business community on how to market their products and services inexpensively and give them control, but also educate them as to the best way to market, like empathy marketing, which is what I'm going to be talking about in an article for the March's monthly marketing tips newsletter. But yeah, so I want to educate all the business owners about this newsletter. I'm going to include a link somewhere on my YouTube channel here. I think there already is one, but sign up so that you can learn some tips and tricks. And also we're going to have in the newsletter, we're going to have some specials, some giveaways, some discounts on graphic design services, photography services. Yeah, the plan is for this to be a very interactive and resourceful newsletter, and I hope everybody signs up. So last but not least, Cindy, what challenges have you come across in your career and overcome that you'd like to share with the YouTube viewers? I guess what I would have to say is when I'm designing something for a client, there's a lot of research that goes into the process, especially a logo or corporate branding. There's a lot of research and deliberation and contemplation and prayer, actually. That's why my business is called Master Graphics. Every time I do design something, every time I do something, I pray for wisdom and inspiration, and because God knows my clients' needs and God knows my abilities, and He inspires me, and there we are. Cindy, thank you so much for your time, and sorry that this was a little bit weird. I wish you the best, and we hope to learn more about you in the future. Well, thank you so much, Cindy. I appreciate your time as well. And yeah, have we met?
Executive.